Welcome to Central News for Monday, 16th of June. I'm Amy Forrest. In today's news, the 46th New Zealand National Agricultural Field Days welcomed thousands through its gates last week, along with the poor weather from earlier in the week doing nothing to deter the crowds. Numbers from the 4 days came in at nearly 120,000 visitors, with Saturday seeing a total of 32,181 people for the event's final day. The beaming sun proved to be a beautiful backdrop for the 900 exhibitors, showcasing their products to eager visitors. The Field Days mobile app was another success this year, with having over 31,000 page views. Overall, event staff, volunteers and exhibitors have been pleased with the organisational factors of Field Days 2014 and say feedback has been largely positive. And of course, a major event at the Field Days, the 2014 Rural Bachelor finalists were battling it out in a series of heats to determine who is the best rural bloke. Winning the title, a huge prize pool worth $23,000, and more importantly, the coveted Golden Gumboot Award. Over the competition, the boys took part in a series of heats, such as speed fencing, lamboning, gun dog trials, and catering a high tea in feminine aprons. After careful deliberation and an evaluation of the finalist results in each of the 13 heats, the winner of Field Days Rural Bachelor of the Year 2014 was announced on Saturday to a packed-out Village Green. Jeff Peake, who is 30 years of age, was the lucky and deserving bachelor to win this year's title, and the Morrinsville native walked away with the rewarding prize pack. At the award ceremony, Jeff Peake, the very gracious and family-orientated winner, expressed his thanks and appreciation to all involved in the event and all those who came along and supported him. The Te Aroha Arts Festival was held over Queen's birthday weekend. Amanda Harper caught up with the organiser Phil Garland to find out about the highlights of the event.
Reasonably well. We could have done with a bigger audience, but the people that turned up thoroughly enjoyed it, and the performers all enjoyed it as well.
In sport, the 2014 ANZ Championship preliminary final between the Mission Queensland Firebirds and Kia Magic will be played in front of a full house tonight. The Magic are taking part in their 7th straight Trans-Tasman finals campaign, with captain Casey Kopua the only player to feature in all 7 final series. Kopua and her defensive partner Liana De Bruin will have the job of trying to stop the prolific Aiken in the goal circle, but she said they would rely on the support of their teammates. Taking a look at the marine forecast now. Raglan easing Tuesday morning northwest 25 knots, high tide 18 minutes past 1 p.m. Over the hill to Tauranga now, rising early Tuesday morning northwest 35 knots with very rough sea. Easing Tuesday afternoon 25 knots. High tide is at 19 minutes past 10 a.m. Just ahead, Federated Farmers at the Field Days. Welcome back to Central News. After 9 years as a member, Chris Lewis was recently elected as the new president for the Waikato branch of the Federated Farmers. Anne-Marie spoke with him at the Field Days.
Chris Lewis, congratulations on the appointment to Waikato president of Federated Farmers.
Oh, thanks very much.
You've been involved with Federated Farmers for a few years now?
Yes, I've been involved for 9 years, and I decided to take the step up. Now my kids are growing up to be a bit older, and got a nice balance between family life, the work, and doing a bit more in the community.
When we think about farming, how can we find a balance between the environmental impact and the economical benefits of dairy farming?
I think 5 years ago, if you asked me that question, there would have been a lot of confrontation from farmers, but nowadays farmers are very educated in that, and we understand that we need to have the local community needs met, as well as the iwi, the government needs, and also having a strong economic outlook for the local region, which is Waikato.
Any good business owner knows that staff can make or break a business. How can the dairy industry both attract and retain quality staff?
Hey, that's a personal challenge for myself on my farm. I employ 5 full-time staff, and yeah, we've had to change the systems what we do to make ourselves more attractive. And my business is we milk 1,100 cows. We're only as strong as my staff have respect for me and want to do the job. And especially in a position like I am now, where I'm off farm a bit more, I need those staff to be there 24/7 doing a good job. So for myself, I've had to offer, I've got nice houses, we pay them above average standard, and last season we gave them 85 days off. So yeah, this year's target's 90 days to get that hourly rate for them, as well as having good family time with their own families. I think it's important not for employers but also employees.
And that's often unheard of in the farming industry, those days off, aren't they?
Yes, it is. I remember when I first went farming, I had 2 days off per month, and I thought that was pretty neat.
Now, the agricultural industry is often used as a barometer for the New Zealand economy. How do you think we're sitting, especially in the Waikato?
The last 12 months, I think Waikato has been very, very strong. But I think with the drought we just had, a lot of farmers have brought a lot of supplementary feed in, and the lower payout forecasts and the GDT auction being down for the last 4 months, I think farmers are still positive, but they weren't as positive as they were 12 months ago. So they may control some of their spending a little bit more than they were expected.
How much impact on the next season has that drought, that was never actually officially called a drought, had?
I think the biggest impact is on the expense sheet. They've spent a lot there, but also if they've spent a lot on expenses, they can't do the capital projects going forward. And around the Waikato, you've got lots of LIC companies, Enbreed, there's a lot of Waikato Milking Systems, Westphalia, a lot of technological farming industries. They rely on that spend, and they employ probably more like thousands, definitely not hundreds, but thousands and thousands of people in the Waikato in that technology space. So yeah, I'd say that, yeah, they may fit a little bit, but if it carries on for the next 24 months, it may fit a lot more.
Chris, thanks for your time.
Always a pleasure.
For more details, go to federatedfarmers.co.nz. Dairy New Zealand's purpose is to secure and enhance the profitability, sustainability and competitiveness of the New Zealand dairy farming industry. Anne-Marie spoke with CEO Tim Mackle and asked, how do we find the balance between environmental impact and the economic benefits of dairy farming?
Tim, how do we find the balance between environmental impact and the economical benefits of dairy farming?
Yeah, it's a very good question, I think, Anne-Marie. Look, the two are not mutually exclusive, and they do go hand in hand. In fact, I've had farmers say to me, you have to be in the black to be green. In other words, you've got to be earning good profits to be able to then pursue, responsible dairy farming. And that's no different anywhere in the world. I mean, the countries that do best on things around sustainability are the most wealthy at the end of the day. And so it's no different in business. You need to be able to make healthy profits to then go and pursue good environmental practices as well. So, we've got a strategy about being competitive, and it's about being responsible. And the two things really underpin each other. They're not separate things at all.
Tell me about the Dairy New Zealand research farms. How do they actually help farmers on a practical day-to-day basis?
Our research farms are a really important part of what we do. I mean, we span a whole lot of different areas working for farmers, but that is a real core function, and their primary goal really is to come up with farm systems and new farm systems and new ways of farming that can help them be more profitable and more sustainable at the same time. So on that basis, they're really trying to push out ahead of where we are with farming right now, and then come up with systems that farmers can then adopt. And of course, farmers have a lot of input into that themselves, and it's really often a co-development thing where you're working with farmers and you have groups of farmers around those research systems having their input as well. And so it's a really mutual sort of thing.
Now, any good business owner knows that staff can make or break a business. How can the dairy industry attract and retain that quality staff?
Yeah, look, and farmers, we've just been through a big levy process with farmers. Fantastic outcome from that, but one of the big feedback points from farmers is that people issues are still one of their key issues going forward, and it always will be. It starts with actually painting the right image for the industry first and foremost, and we know that young people these days care a lot about a lot of things that maybe we didn't care about so much when we were younger, and so it's important to tap into those things. So the right image and a genuine intent to do the right thing as farmers, and we know that the vast majority of farmers out there do care about the environment, they care about their animals, otherwise they wouldn't be farming animals, they'd be actually growing crops or flowers or trees or something. So on that basis, it's connecting at those levels. At the same time, it's about sharing the opportunities and make sure young people understand the tremendous number of opportunities that there is in the dairy industry and all of agriculture. In fact, there really is huge scope right now for jobs.
Tell me about the Dairy NZ site here at the Field Days. Is it one of your favourite exhibits?
Oh, absolutely. We love coming here. It's a great chance to engage with farmers and also members of the public as well. And it really, this year we're going to focus on a new website, which is an exciting development for us.
Tim Mackle, thank you for your time. Enjoy Field Days 2014.
Thanks, Anne-Marie. Cheers. Great.
For more details, go to dairynz.co.nz. Coming up after the break, how will the ratepayer be affected by the upgrades of facilities in Matamata? Join us then. Matamata residents currently have the opportunity to voice their opinions on the proposed upgrades to facilities in the area. Hilary spoke to Matamata Piako District Mayor Jan Barnes to find out more.
Welcome to the show, Mayor Jan.
Good morning, Hilary.
Now, you've come in to talk about the upgrading of the Matamata Township. What has to be done?
Well, we have some assets here that are starting to feel very tired. Our Memorial Centre and our library. And, they don't last forever. These are wonderful assets that have been built over time, but all of a sudden they're starting to need attention. And we had put 1.5 million in a budget for Matamata facilities for an upgrade.
So what's that going to cover, that 1.5 million?
Well, it's really only going to cover an earthquake upgrade, a national standard upgrade, and repairs. Our Memorial Centre is in a bad way. It needs a new roof, and it is well below the national standard in earthquake, percentage. Our library is not meeting the national standard either. It doesn't have the required lighting, space, and we can't hold the programs that we want to hold there, the same as we're doing in our other libraries in Te Araha and Morrinsville. So it is below par in that manner.
So the library's looking quite desperate, is it? I mean, if you can't hold many kind of meetings there and that kind of thing, it's kind of a bit...
it's been a changing dynamics in the library. I think our library staff do a great job and manage very well, but it doesn't meet the national standard for libraries.
So what are the other options though?
Well, we can repair, we can renovate, or we can rebuild. So repair, we've got 1.5. But is that going to take us forward for the next 30 years or 50 years? So renovate, yes, we could renovate, and that's probably a middle option where you've got a footprint of our Memorial Centre, of our area office and of our library. Could we link them? Yes, we could. So that is perhaps a middle ground option, but you're going to be forced to stick with the footprint that those three buildings give. If we looked at a rebuild, and can I state here that we would keep our war memorial. It's very important. But I believe that going forward, what do we need for the future? We need to stop. We need to think. Have we got it right? Are the users happy with what we've got there, or do we need to look at other options? So we want to consult with our community and with the users.
So with the rebuild, you'd be looking at putting together a memorial centre and a library together as a community facility?
I think that's what you would look at, Hilary. I think you would look at combining, because you have savings going together, whether it's heating, the way it all works and functions. If we had our area office within the facility of a civic centre, it could be open all the time. People could come in and ponder with our war memorial. I think there's so many more opportunities. So is there opportunities that we can look at for the future? And this is why we want to talk to our community. They are the ones that use it. And what else could we attract to our Matamata Civic Centre? It is a district facility. It holds over 200 people seated. And of course, when we have the business awards for the district, the centre is well used.
So it would be kind of creating like a little hub for the community?
Yes, I like that word, a community hub. And we have, as a council, been visiting other areas, trying to see, you know, what's out there, thinking outside the square. The old Briscoe's building in Wakatani has been made into a wonderful community centre. It's got the library, it's got arts, they have the area office, and they have small breakout rooms. They have a museum there, and they also have computers, small seminars going on. I was very impressed. So we need to think, what could we take from that? What would fit with us in our district? Look at our location. What can we attract to Matamata that maybe projects or people using it and bringing in a income for the ratepayer?
I mean, you have set aside 1.5 million. Do you think that you would be able to do a whole rebuild for 1.5 though?
No, not for 1.5. The 1.5 is really just a repair, and it would only do the Memorial Centre. It would then not, the library would have nothing done. So we've got to think, is that what the community, do they want to just do the bare minimum? Do we look at something more moderate, or do we really think for the future, you know, what is it we need going forward? And it is a district facility.
Now, how much of an impact does the community actually have on that final decision though?
I can assure you, Hilary, it has a huge impact. You know, this is why we consult. I think people get frustrated with council taking quite a while to work through things. But we come out and we are advertising. I'm talking with you today and highlighting it. You have elected members you can talk to. But what I really want the people to do is talk to the groups you belong to. What is it we need in our Memorial Centre or a civic centre? How can we work smarter going forward? So yes, I think there's lots of opportunities that we need to flesh out, and then when we have discussed it and got all the information back, we will put a proposal together and we will come out again early next year and let the community see what we've perhaps pulled together. What do you think about this? So there's still more opportunities.
Well, it sounds very exciting to try and create a bit of a community hub. Thank you very, very much for coming in.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Hilary.
Just ahead, running shoes made of wool. Welcome back to Central News. When we think of running shoes, we don't necessarily think of them being made out of wool, but that's exactly what Anne-Marie found when she went to the field days.
It's amazing what you find at the field days. A sheepskin on a running shoe is not what I expected when I was wandering through the pavilion, but you never know what you find at Ag Research, and sure enough, that's what I found. And with me is Andy Cooper, who's the Science Impact Leader at Ag Research. Why is there a sheepskin running on the wall?
That's a really good question. Well, we were approached by a company called 2B, and they were looking for new uses for wool. And we've got a lot of experience in developing new fabrics and utilising the natural benefits of New Zealand wool. And so we worked together, and this is the creation we had. So this is it, the wool runner.
How does a wool runner help or affect an athlete?
Well, the wool runner, obviously being made with New Zealand wool, helps moisture management, especially for the athlete's foot. As we all know, we can get sweaty feet when we're running, and we all have those stinky feet. But the actual wool here helps wick moisture away from the foot, and also has a natural deodorizing effect when you use wool. So this shoe here's had 400 hours of running time, and it smells pretty good.
It does. It smells pretty good. I didn't think I'd be sniffing a shoe at the field days, that's for sure. Do you need to wear socks with it?
Not necessarily, no, and that's a great thing about this shoe. You've basically got the wool which will act as the sock for you, as I said, wicking that moisture away. So these guys used crowdfunding to actually get this product up and running, and so sold off the initial run online, and now are have a production line going with wool runners. It's a great success story.
So the base is a traditional shoe?
Yep, the base is some synthetic, unfortunately. We can't actually produce the base yet in wool. Perhaps we should work on that. But no, it's just the upper and the insole that is actually the wool part. And that's the functionality that we required that's encasing the foot.
Tell me about the sustainability aspect.
Well, obviously being wool, it comes from sheep. Sheep eat grass, sheep grow wool, we shear the wool. It's that simple cycle. And for a lot of discerning buyers of clothing and footwear around the world now, sustainability and understanding the where that fibre or where that product's come from is really important to them. And New Zealand wool, it's got a good story, and it's a great natural fibre.
How popular are the shoes?
Well, they were sold out in the initial run they wanted. I believe it was something along the line of $30,000, $35,000 they required, and they sold out incredibly quickly online. And this allowed them to then go into a larger production run, so incredibly popular.
It's a fantastic idea, and look, I'd be willing to try it out if it meant that you didn't get those black toenails when you're doing the long distances.
Well, it's not so much the black toenails, it's the actual stinky feet afterwards. So you won't have to leave these outside your back door anymore. You can actually put these away in your shoe cupboard and they won't smell. And they look good too. So.
They do. Andy Cooper, Ag Research, thanks for your time.
Okay. Cheers.
For more details, go to agresearch.co.nz. Now for your weather for Tuesday. Hamilton showers, possibly getting heavy in the afternoon. Northerly turns westerly. Your expected high is 18 and an overnight low of 9. The rest of the Waikato, showers, some heavy until evening. Fresh westerlies. Paroa, a high of 18 and a low of 7. Matamata, you have a high of 16 with a low of 9. Te Awamutu, 18 with a low of 9. And Tokoroa, a high of 15 and a low of 9. Bay of Plenty, Tauranga, rain to few showers in the morning. Northerlies turning westerly. Your expected high is 19 and an overnight low of 11. Te Puke, rain with some heavy falls, easing to showers during the morning, with northerlies turning fresh westerly. A high of 17 and a low of 11. That is Central News today. Join us on Facebook or email us at news@tvcentral.co.nz if you have any stories you think we should know about. I'll be back tomorrow night with more from Waikato and the Bay of Plenty. I'm Amy Forrest. Have a wonderful evening.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.